The world is a cacophony of dying screams and empty boasts. Men wander the earth like clashing cymbals, desperate to be heard, begging for eyes to fall upon them. They reveal their plans, their fears, and their inner rot to anyone with an ear to listen. They think their noise makes them strong, that their presence is felt through the volume of their voices. They are fools, destined to be broken upon the rocks of reality. In the shadows of the ancient world, the predator does not howl before the strike. The mountain does not explain its height to the valley below. There is a law, etched in the cold, unforgiving stone of the soul, that the loud are led to slaughter while the silent inherit the spoils. We call it the ghost rule. It is the art of becoming a phantom in a world of desperate visibility. To speak is to bleed energy. To remain silent is to wet your blade in the dark. You have been lied to, told that your voice is your power. But I tell you, your silence is your deadliest weapon. It is the shield that deflects the arrows of your enemies and the cloak that hides your true intent. Most men are slaves to their own tongues, prisoners of their need for validation. But you must learn to vanish. You must learn that the most dangerous man in the room is the one who says nothing, but sees everything. If you feel the call of the iron path, if you are tired of the hollow noise of the masses, then mark this moment. To walk with the ghosts is to leave the herd behind forever. If you are ready to forge your spirit in these shadows, stay until the final ember fades, for the revelation at the end will change how you strike. And if you seek to join the ranks of those who master themselves before they master the world, commit to this philosophy now, not for the sake of a channel, but as a vow to your own hidden strength. Observe the man who shouts his triumphs from the ramparts, his chest heaving with the pride of a momentary victory. He believes that by proclaiming his glory, he cements it into the earth. He is wrong. He is merely painting a target upon his own back, inviting the envious and the spiteful to sharpen their knives in the dark. Every boast is a map given to your enemies. Every complaint is a vulnerability exposed to the vultures. In the harsh wilderness of existence, the loud are the first to be hunted. They are predictable, governed by the fragile whims of their ego, dancing like puppets to the tune of external approval. But the ghost, the one who has embraced the discipline of the void, moves through the world like a biting wind. You feel the chill, but you cannot grasp the source. You see the footprints, but the warrior is already gone. To master the ghost rule is to realize that your words are a finite resource, a treasury of steel that must not be squandered on the trivial. When you speak, you give away a piece of your power, a fragment of your tactical advantage. The barbarian kings of the wastes did not ask for permission to rule. They simply took the throne in a silence so heavy it crushed the breath from their rivals. This is the Stoicism of the blade. It is the understanding that the mind must be a fortress, its gates barred against the urge to explain, to justify, or to seek comfort in the understanding of others. Silence creates a vacuum of power that others will desperately try to fill with their own nervous chatter. By saying nothing, you force the world to reveal itself to you. You become the observer, the judge, and eventually the executioner of fate. If this truth burns in your gut like a swallowed coal, it is because you recognize the weakness you have carried. To shed that skin is to begin the true hunt. Think of the silence not as an absence, but as a presence, a heavy, suffocating weight that you lay upon the shoulders of those who oppose you. Most men cannot endure the void. They are terrified of the stillness because it forces them to confront the echoes of their own inadequacy. When you refuse to speak, you become a mirror. In your quiet, they see their own desperation reflected back at them. They will begin to babble, to fill the air with their nervous energy, revealing their secrets, their alliances, and the cracks in their armor. You do not need to torture a man to know his mind. You only need to wait. The ghost understands that time is a predator and silence is its teeth. It is a grueling discipline, for the ego screams to be known. It wants to tell the world how clever it is, how much it has suffered, or what it plans to build. To kill the ego is to kill the voice of the slave within you. This is where the iron enters the soul. It is the moment you realize that every time you kept a secret, every time you swallowed a boast, you grew stronger, while the world around you grew louder and weaker. If you have ever felt the bitter sting of a secret shared too soon, or the shame of a plan ruined by your own loud mouth, you know the price of noise. This path is not for the weak of heart or the thin of skin. It is for those who wish to be the storm that arrives without the warning of thunder. If this truth hits you like a blow to the chest, it is because you have finally stopped running from the quiet. Reflect on the times your tongue has been your undoing. If you are ready to bind that tongue in chains of silver and steel, then you are beginning to understand the true nature of power. The ghost does not ask for respect. He commands it by the sheer gravity of his absence. Imagine a battlefield shrouded in a mist so thick it tastes of cold iron. The novice charges, screaming his name to the heavens, brandishing his blade for all to see. He is easy to kill. He is a loud, bright spark in a world of darkness. But the veteran, the one who has survived 1,000 winters, moves through the fog like a haunting memory. He is the ghost. He does not announce his presence because his presence is felt in the sudden, sharp chill at the back of a rival's neck. This is the essence of the ghost rule, to be omnipresent yet untouchable. When you are silent, you are everywhere and nowhere at once. You are not bound by the expectations of others because they have no data to define your limits. They cannot map your borders if you never show them where you stand. To embrace this is to accept a lonely throne, far above the chatter of the marketplace. If this resonates with the warrior hidden inside your modern skin, if you feel the weight of this ancient law deep in your marrow, write the word iron in the comments. It is not just a word. It is a signal to the others who walk this path that you have chosen the heavy silence over the hollow scream. Your silence is a fortress of your own making. Inside its walls you forge your weapons with steady hands. While others are busy seeking the nod of a superior or the fleeting gaze of a crowd, you are refining your craft in the shadows. You are building an empire that no one can sabotage because no one truly knows it exists until the gates are already broken. The most effective strike is the one that comes from a direction the enemy didn't even know was a threat. To be a ghost is to master the unexpected. It is to let your results speak with the roar of a collapsing mountain, while you remain as quiet as the dust that settles afterward. The desire to be understood is a wretched itch that leads most men to their ruin. It is a hunger of the spirit, a desperate need to find common ground with those who would just as soon see you fail. They trade their mystery for a moment of comfort, spilling their secrets to strangers in the hopes of receiving a sympathetic nod or a hollow word of praise. But the ghost knows that being understood is a trap. When you are understood, you are categorized. When you are categorized, you are confined. To be a ghost is to remain unmappable, a territory without a compass, a riddle that the world cannot solve. This is the Stoicism of the abyss. The realization that the only opinion that carries the weight of iron is your own. In the frozen wastes of the soul, you must learn to sit with your own thoughts until they become your allies rather than your tormentors. Most people use speech to escape themselves. They drown out the inner silence because it reveals the emptiness of their character. You, however, must embrace that silence. Let it be the forge where you hammer out your resolve. When you stop explaining your actions, you reclaim the energy you once wasted on the opinions of the small-minded. You begin to see that the world's judgment is nothing more than the rattling of dry leaves in the wind. A king does not ask the peasants for his crown, and a warrior does not ask the enemy if his blade is sharp enough. If you have reached this point, you are beginning to feel the shift. The noise of the world is fading, and the clarity of the hunt is taking its place. This is the moment of your transformation, where the man of words dies, and the ghost of action is born. You are no longer part of the herd. You are the shadow that moves beside it. To speak is to surrender the element of surprise. The predator of the high plains does not growl as it tracks the elk. It is a ribbon of smoke against the gray sky, a shadow that clings to the edges of the world until the moment of the kill. When you adopt the ghost rule, you are practicing the ultimate form of psychological warfare. Your enemies will grow restless in your absence. They will invent stories about you to fill the void. They will project their own fears onto your silence, imagining you are stronger, smarter, and more ruthless than you might even feel. Let them. Let their imaginations weave the noose that will eventually hang them. Your power lies in the fact that you are an unknown variable. In a world of digital footprints and constant broadcasting, being a ghost is the only way to remain free. You are not a data point to be tracked by corporations or a social animal to be managed by peers. You are a force of nature. This is the code of the unseen. If you find yourself nodding, not out of habit but because this truth resonates with a deep, primal part of your being, then you have already crossed the threshold. You are no longer one of them. You are one of us. This is the tribe of the silent ones, those who know that the loudest roar is the one that never leaves the throat. We are moving toward the final revelation of this rule, the moment where silence becomes a killing blow. Do not turn away now, for the most vital secret of the phantom is yet to be bared. You have spent your life trying to fit in. Now, learn the devastating power of standing completely alone in the dark. The world will try to provoke you. It will send its jesters and its bullies to poke at the edges of your silence, desperate to see if you have blood beneath that phantom skin. They will insult you. They will lie about your name, and they will dance in front of you like frantic monkeys, all to bait a reaction. They want to know that they can control you, that they can pull the strings of your emotions and make you move to their tune. But the ghost is an anvil. The hammer strikes, the sparks fly, and the noise rings out, but the anvil remains unmoved, cold and indifferent to the violence of the blow. To react is to admit that the world has power over you. To remain silent is to prove that you are the absolute master of your own internal kingdom. When you master this level of detachment, you become truly terrifying to the masses. There is nothing more unsettling to an adversary than a man who stares back with eyes of ice and says nothing. Your lack of reaction is a psychological declaration of war against their ego. It tells them that they are insignificant, a mere gnat buzzing against the granite face of a mountain. This is the Stoic fortress in action. It is not about winning a petty argument. It is about being entirely above the argument. You are playing a game of centuries while they are playing a game of seconds. This discipline is the ultimate test of the iron path. It is easy to be quiet when the sun is shining, but can you remain a ghost when the fire is licking at your heels? Can you maintain the void when your reputation is at stake? If you can, you have transcended the common man and entered the realm of the legends. We are nearing the end of this ritual. The final secret of how the ghost turns silence into a physical force of change is coming. Do not falter now, for the transition from prey to predator is almost complete. Silence is not just a lack of sound. It is the ultimate form of focus. When the ghost closes his mouth, his mind becomes a sharpened blade. All the energy that would have been dissipated in useless conversation is redirected inward, fueling the fires of intent. You become a laser in a world of scattered light. You see the patterns that others miss, because they are too busy talking over the truth. You notice the subtle shift in a rival's posture, the flicker of fear in a superior's eye, the hidden opportunity buried beneath the noise of a crisis. This heightened perception is the reward for your discipline. While the world is distracted by its own echo, you are mapping the terrain, identifying the weak points, and preparing the strike that will end the conflict before it even begins. This is the Ghost Rule's most lethal manifestation. The ability to act with absolute surgical precision because you have seen what everyone else was too loud to notice. You do not need 1,000 blows to fell a tree, you only need one, delivered with the full weight of your focused spirit at the exact point of failure. This is why the silent man is feared. It is not because he is mysterious, it is because he is efficient. He does not waste energy on drama or ego. He only wastes energy on results. As you move through your days, carry this silence like a concealed weapon. Let it be the secret source of your strength. You do not need to announce your arrival, and you certainly do not need to explain your departure. Be the man who leaves the room while everyone else is still waiting for him to speak. Be the ghost who accomplishes the impossible and then vanishes into the mist without a trace of pride. This is the path of the true warrior. We are approaching the final ember. Are you ready for the ultimate truth that binds all this together? The embers are turning to ash, and the shadows are reclaiming the world. You have stood in the silence, and you have felt its weight. Now, you must understand the ultimate truth of the Ghost Rule. Silence is not a hiding place. It is a launching pad. The draw of the bow is silent, but the flight of the arrow is death. Your period of quiet is the tension in the string, the gathering of every ounce of your will, your focus, and your iron resolve. When you finally move, you do not move with a shout, but with the irresistible force of a landslide. The world will not hear you coming, but it will feel the impact of your arrival in its very foundations. This is the Stoicism of the conqueror. You do not seek to be known, you seek to be effective. You do not seek to be loved, you seek to be unshakable. You are now a phantom in a world of ghosts who don't even know they are dead. You have shed the need for validation like a suit of rusted armor that only slowed you down. Go forth into the cacophony of the modern age, but carry the stillness of the deep forest within you. Let them talk. Let them boast. Let them reveal their throats while you keep your blade sheathed and your eyes sharp. The Ghost Rule is now your law, and the void is your ally. If you have felt the spirit of the barbarian stir within you today, then your transformation has only just begun. This path does not end here. It only deepens as the shadows grow longer. If you are ready to see how a man of silence builds an empire that the world cannot tear down, the next gate is already standing open for you. Choose the next video on your screen to continue forging your spirit in the fires of the ancient way. The hunt never ends for those who move unseen.